books that I bought. I bought this. And I got that. And I got, where's the ballet book? I got more books. Where are they? This specifically here is what I've accumulated over the past few weeks. Officer over here, officer. Officer's just filling the void with literature. That's 6 books just dropped. Let's start that again. My name is Dakota and I have a book addiction, somewhat. I have a book buying problem, but also a book reading problem, so it really informs one another and it's not too big of an issue. It could be much worse. It's almost summer. Beautiful summer is around the corner. I can smell it, I can taste it, I can feel it. The sun is on my skin. I went for a little walk today and the sun was on the back of that little spot on the back of your neck. And it just felt really lovely, and I thought to myself, I need to curate a new list for mood reading for summer. I say this every video, but it's important to, I suppose, reiterate that I'm a mood reader, which means I'm a very intuitive reader, and the books that I have bought to read this summer may not end up even anywhere near me this summer. Also, these are only the books that I have not read yet, because I have also bought books that I've read straight away and they've gone in my wrap-up videos. And so if you want to know about those, watch the wrap-up videos. I go in depth in the videos about all the books and films that I watch and read each month. So go look at those. This video is about the books that I've not yet read but want to read in summer. I also have a bunch of books that I've owned for a while that I plan on reading in summer. Well, not plan on reading in summer, but would like to read in summer. But this isn't about those. This video is about the books that I bought specifically to read in summer. I'm yapping today. I can't stop yapping. You know when you just can't, I can't have a clear and concise sentence because my brain, I am filming this at like 6 p.m. 6:44 p.m. That's really late for me because I'm a morning person. So my brain's fried at this point of the day. So I guess without further ado, let's talk about the books that I bought to read in summer.
I've worked with Squarespace many times before and I adore Squarespace because it is a platform that makes the whole process of creating and maintaining websites so seamless and, dare I say, enjoyable. I say this from personal experience because I wanted to give back to my community who support my creative endeavors, so I built an online literary and arts journal / lovely little arts community via Squarespace. You can submit your poetry, fiction, art, and essays to me based on the monthly prompts, and I just might publish your work. Squarespace is so great for turning passion projects into professional projects and morphing dreams and concepts into tangible realities. This is done simply by the Fluid Engine design system and Squarespace Blueprint, which is a guided design system to assist you in crafting a completely personalized website. There's elements I'm excited to eventually incorporate, like an online store with flexible payments. It's all so fun and easy to design, and you can so easily set up your own site too. Head to squarespace.com/Dakota Warren to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using code Dakota Warren.
We're starting with the one that's probably going to get me in the most trouble. The first book is Charles Bukowski on Love. And Leonard Cohen said that he brought everybody down to the earth, even the angels. This is a collection of Bukowski's writings, you guessed it, on love. I've not read this book before, but I've read a whole bunch of Bukowski. I own an alarming amount of Bukowski in my collection. I used to try and collect cool editions of Bukowski. So I've got a lot of Bukowski, and I mean, I talk in my other videos about how I feel about him. Obviously, he is a problematic guy. Quite awful, really, but he had a knack for words. So I'm going to read them. And there's nothing quite like reading about love in summer, because summer is the season of love. If you don't know who Bukowski is, Charles Bukowski was a writer / poet / gambler, notorious gambler. His writing is interesting. It's very gritty and very raw, and it's quite simplistic but very poignant and beautiful. And I've read a lot of his poetry collections. My favorite poetry collection of his is Love is a Dog from Hell, but even in that, it's completely comprised of hits and misses. I feel like for every golden poem, there's a poem that's either kind of just awful. So you really have to take it with a grain of salt. And, you know, when you consume, I say this a lot, but I have to say it again in case you're new here. When you consume media or literature, that kind of thing, from a certain point of time, you have to use your critical thinking cap and consider that it's a product of its culture, and that cultural error, as awful as it may be, and obviously not apply your own morality to it as you read it, you know. A lot of people have this kind of idea that if you read something from a problematic author, that you thus agree with the problematic author, but that's why critical thinking exists. It's a very wonderful thing. This is Charles Bukowski on love, and I've opened with the most controversial book from the list, so that'll make the rest easier. This is Three Women by Lisa Taddeo, and I thrifted this from Oxfam. Oh, the Bukowski on love I got today. I got today from Daunt Books in Marylebone. I got this because I actually don't really know what it's about, but my friend read it over last Christmas, and she said, "You'd like this, Dakota. It's about women and body horror and digital gruesome and things like that," which is, you know, that's a genre that I adore, gruesome women body horror. And so I saw it for £3 and thought, I guess this would be a good fun read. It's the quotidian minutes of our lives that will go on forever, that will tell us who we were, who our neighbours and our mothers were when we were too diligent in thinking they were nothing like us. This is the story of three women. One of those quite elusive blurbs that makes us wonder, but that's the good thing. I think it's about desire and lust and infidelity, girlhood, womanhood, motherhood, and the liminal spaces in between. That sounds good. But I've heard good things. This will be my first Lisa Taddeo. I think there's another one prior to this called something else, and I've heard good things about that as well. So why not? The next book I picked up today, and that is Annie Ernaux's Simple Passion. And the blurb really stole me with this. It's a very quick read. Notoriously, I love a quick read. And it says, in her spare, stark style, Annie Ernaux documents the desires and indignities of a human heart ensnared in an all-consuming passion. I am sold by that line. That's enough for me. Blurring the line between fact and fiction, she attempts to plot the emotional and physical course of her 2-year relationship with a married man. That's enough for me. Where every word, event, and person either provides a connection with her beloved or is subject to her cold indifference. With courage and exactitude, Ernaux seeks the truth behind an existence lived, for a time, entirely for someone else. Sold. Sold. Take my money. I read this blurb and just got sprinted to the cashier. It was also a winner of the Nobel Prize. Annie Ernaux was a winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature. If you don't know who Annie Ernaux is, I've not read enough of her works, to be honest, because what I have read has been absolutely brilliant. So I think she might be a new favourite author of mine. Keep that in mind for my next few videos and see if I follow through with that. The next book that I the next book that I bought to read is Pretentiousness and Why It Matters by Dan Fox. You may think this is a bit, you may think that this is a silly little joke, but it's not. This was actually recommended to me, and it's actually apparently a very brilliant book. Not a joke, because people call me pretentious. So when I first joined the internet, insane sentence, when I first gained notoriety on the internet, that's still a strange sentence. When I first, when I blew up on the internet, I was obviously, my frontal lobe had not developed. This was years ago, and I was in my bedroom because it was locked down and wasn't socializing much because we weren't allowed to, and so I was just on the internet, and I gained this kind of weird alter ego which was very pretentious, and now I have to live with that for the rest of my life. La 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 la. But pretentiousness became a part of my identity on the internet, my alter ego, my online persona, if you will. You know, I think now that I'm merging my utter, complete, true self as my frontal lobe has snapped into place with my online self, that's dropping. But still, back to this book. That's why I got this book. This book is about pretentiousness, obviously. What is pretentiousness? Why do we despise it? And more controversially, why is it vital to a thriving culture? That was my thing. I used to say, it's good to be pretentious, it's good to care, it's good. Pretentiousness is trying to impress people. You want people to think that you're good, to think that you're smart, to think that you're brilliant. And I used to argue that this was a good thing because it means that you will be constantly improving yourself in the process and that kind of thing. I mean, I'm not sure where I stand with it now because I haven't really thought about it in a while. but now I am because of this book. Pretentiousness, Why It Matters unpacks the term, tracing its connections to theatre, politics and class, advocating critical imagination over knee-jerk accusations of elitism or simple fear of new and the different. This book is a timely defense of pretentiousness as a necessity for innovation and diversity in our culture. And Jarvis Cocker, incredible singer of A-Line, said, meticulously researched, persuasively argued, where would we be as a culture if no one was prepared to risk coming across as pretentious? Absolutely nowhere, darling, that's where. Anyway, I'm really excited to read this, and this was recommended to me by somebody whose opinion I trust very much. I picked that up from Daunt Books in Marylebone as well, but that was a few weeks ago. Maybe even a month ago now. I don't know, time ceased existence a while ago. The next book is Love Bug by Daisy Lafarge. And I think I have spoken about, I made a TikTok about this. I made a TikTok about this because the blurb for this is astronomical. Let me read it to you. In Love Bug, Daisy Lafarge explores metaphors of love and disease as she seeks to understand human vulnerability and our intimacy with microbial life. Turning to microbiology, mysticism, and psychoanalysis, as well as the raw materials of life and love, Lafarge navigates the uncomfortable intimacy between the human body and the many bacteria, viruses, and parasites to which it is host. Love Bug is a book about the poetics of infection. Right? And how we can learn to live with multi-species ambivalence. How might we forge non-phobic relationships to our little beasts? How might we rewild our imaginations? In weaving the personal with the pathological, Love Bug complicates the idea of coherent selfhood, revealing life as a site of radical vulnerability and an ongoing negotiation with limit. Is that not one of the most incredible blurbs you've ever heard in your entire life? Also, the cover is very clever because it's... I was about to call this a germ. What is this called? A particle, an atom, a germ, something zoomed really close with a microscope. Listen, I didn't do science. I pursued the arts. This absolutely fascinates me, and I've read a little bit, but not a lot of it. I've read up to page 13 to be exact, but then I had to put it down because I kept getting distracted and it wasn't the right time to sink my teeth into it. I'm really excited to read this. Also, as someone who is very interested in general in illness as a metaphor and sickness as a metaphor for love, love as a metaphor for sickness and those kinds of things. I have, fun fact about me, I have extreme hypochondria. I'm an extremely health conscious person, so when I read things about bacteria and viruses and parasites and hosts, it gets under my skin and I freak out a lot, and I think this will be an interesting journey inwards to read this and kind of reframe it as a metaphor for something else. But anyway, the next book that I got is Ada Limon's Bright Dead Things. I got this today from the London Review bookstore, and I couldn't choose between this one. There was this one and another one, and I could not choose between them. And I was stood there for like 10 minutes, like an absolute idiot, with these two books with the exact same cover, just staring at them like this. And I just couldn't decide. Anyway, I chose this one because I thought Bright Dead Things sounds more summery. That's what it came down to. Ada Limon is one of my favorite poets. She's absolutely brilliant. She is so lyrical. She makes it seem so effortless and wonderful. And also, fun fact, I was nominated with Ada Limon in 2022 for the best poetry book of the year. That was such a pinch me moment, seeing who I was nominated with, or against, I suppose, and all these names that I've idolized for years, and Ada Limon was on it. That's one of my top 10 career moments of all time, top 5 career moments of all time. Let it be said that this is a poetry collection, and I don't entirely know what it's about at this point, but I will let you know. There's nothing quite like some poetry under the summer sun. The next book that I got is kind of a nice loop back to my first book that I spoke about from Bukowski on love. Monsters by Claire Dederer. What do we do with great art by bad people? Because it seems to be such a theme, you know? Whether it's just literature or film or art in general, there's so much incredible art, musicians as well, so much incredible art in the world that's tied to awful people, and then it comes down to the whole art versus artist debate and separating the art from the artist. And can you? No, you can't. But will you? You probably will. We all do. And this is a deep dive in that, really. It says that Pablo Picasso beat his partners, Richard Wagner was deeply anti-Semitic, David Bowie slept with an underage fan. I'll let you know how it goes. The next book that I got both of these books today that I'm speaking about now, from the London Review bookstore. And this one seems to be kind of a repeat of the one that I just got, but it's very subtly different. And obviously this is the topic that I'm interested in. This is called Art Monsters by Lauren Elkin. And it's about feminist artists and the truth about their experiences as bodies, sick bodies, radicalized bodies, female bodies, queer bodies, and the way that artists have taken this challenge of linking art and the body correctly. And I flicked through and I read some really interesting one-sentence snippets on each page that I found. The tagline is "Unruly Bodies in Feminist Art," and that's enough to sell me. Obviously, I mean, I think it goes without saying that I like books, I like art. I like books about art, I like poetry, I don't really read much fiction at the moment because I'm working so intently on my novel, and I can only really have one body of fiction in my head if I'm trying to become it, you know, and live it and perfect it. And so I'm reading my own novel over and over and over and over and over and over as per edits and deadlines and that kind of thing. So much of this is going to be non-fiction and poetry. The next book that I got, I thrifted this from Any Amount of Books somewhere in Soho. I think it's between Covent Garden and Soho. And it's Marlene Dietrich's biography called My Friend by David Brett. And I haven't done research if David Brett's actually her friend or if that's just a great marketing ploy. But I am very intrigued in Marlene Dietrich's life. I've just read the blurb and this was a completely, fully, utterly consensual biography, and she said that she always feels at ease when she's speaking to David Brett, and he is one of the few men in the world who has tried to understand her, and that he is fearless, and she appreciates his honesty and that kind of thing. So this is a remarkable series of candid interviews just 2 days before her death on 6th of May 1992. Wow! And it's full of rare photographs and that kind of thing. This is a great little find, and I paid £6 for it. I think £6 is a good price. If you don't know who Marlene Dietrich is, she was an actress in the Golden Age. Golden Age? Golden Age, yeah. The next book that I got is biography, you guess it, true crime this time, but you probably know why. This is Go Down Together, the true untold story of Bonnie and Clyde by Jeff Gwynne. How phonetically pleasing is Gwynne? Love that word. This is the story of Bonnie and Clyde, the true untold story. This is apparently one of the best ones because there are so many to choose from. I did my research and found this one is the best. Apparently it's meticulously researched, it's got pictures in the middle, it's unbiased. Can you be unbiased with true crime? Don't ask me, I don't really do true crime. But this is for project research. I'm not going to say what project, obviously. Top secret. But this is a big book that I want to sink my teeth into this summer. I like to read big books in summer because I can commit to them and just lay in the sun for a while and read them. The final 2 books that I got, these are gorgeous antique books that are very old and falling apart, but they're stunning. And I can't wait to read them. This is the Film Fan's Bedside book, and I got this from the antique market in Hampstead. Both of these are from there. And this was there, they were £5 each. And this is, look how pretty this is. This is the Film Fan's Bedside book. And it's just about, I think it's from the 50s. And so it's all about film, but obviously then it goes up to the year that it was published, which was the 50s. And it's really interesting to me, you know, I want to read about the Film Fan's Bedside book up until the 50s. It's just a really beautiful book and it smells really good. Cannot stress enough how good this smells. Imagine the most must-see vintage book you've ever smelled and times it by 1,000, but in a way that you like, and it smells really good. When I first got this in Hampstead, I was just walking through the streets just like this, like it's some kind of crack or something. The final book that I got is Paintings of the Ballet by Vale Lee Elliott, and this is exactly as you think. Oops. Paintings of the Ballet, but it's got it's just a compilation of art. It's paintings of the ballet. But what I love about this is when I opened it, when I bought it, after I bought it, a bunch of things fell out, and it's little sketches that people have done themselves of the ballet. And someone's done this on their own and then stuck it in the book and then I suppose donated it, and now it's mine. This book is from the 40s, I think. Yeah, this book is from 1947, and so this is I think it's just such a special, magical thing when you find an old book and it's got old things in it. I'm a lover of old things, notoriously, especially men. So genuinely, honestly dear to me. The fact that somebody drew these decades and decades ago, and now they're in my possession, and it's up to me to cherish them, and I'm going to cherish them daily. This is just very, very, very special to me. That is the books that I have bought to read in summer, and I don't think I'm going to be buying any more in the near future, unless I end up in a bookstore tomorrow or something or other. But that's just because I've got enough now. I've got plenty. I also have so many books I need to read. I started Anna Karenina and then I abandoned it because editing my novel, I couldn't read anything that I needed to be completely involved in. And I want to read that again in summer. I want to take it to Sicily and read that, but we'll see. We'll see if I actually do it. We'll see what I actually read of these in summer. I don't make promises I can't keep, which is why I don't make promises. Because I can't keep promises. I change my mind too often. I'm too intuitive. I need to do things as I do them in the exact moment. So keep track of my monthly wrap-ups. I've been loyal with those thus far, and also follow my Instagram and my TikTok because I post what I read and snippets of those periodically and sporadically. So if you want to keep up, you can know exactly what I read and when, and watch, because I tell you what I watch now as well, which is pretty fun. Anyway, the sun's setting. I want to go have dessert. Look. This has been sitting, watching me, this beautiful pot of papaya and summer fruits. It's just been sitting watching me film this video, and I've been thinking of it the entire time I've been filming. I've been thinking of this pot of fruit.